We're back for another episode of These Two Girls podcast with your hosts,
Candy.
and Cheyenne.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I think this is a little low. I'm going to put it up some. Okay.
Did you guys miss us? It's been
Recording, it's been a minute, but they've had our presence with the live, so maybe they don't miss us.
Have you guys enjoyed the live? I've enjoyed the live.
I've enjoyed the live.
Okay.
It's not I've expressed, it's not my preferred thing. I'm glad we're getting back to this, but I do enjoy the live, like when we do it in the moment. It gives me a little bit of anxiety. I feel like I'm one of those people that talks to their followers on Instagram, but I'm not one of those people. So it makes me feel weird. No judgment to anyone that does that. So it's just not my thing.
Okay.
It takes some getting used to. Yeah. But other than that,
Yeah, it does make me nervous in the beginning, but I do like it. I feel like we get to see where our listeners are at or our followers. I think we get to meet both people because we have listeners and we have followers, and then we kind of meet somewhere in between.
Oh, okay. So you have people who follow the page but don't really listen to the podcast.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And then we probably have people that listen to podcasts that don't really get to join our lives.
Right.
So we kind of get to meet everyone.
So, well, I guess, we should definitely get back to doing both so that we can meet both needs, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you been?
I'm alright, I'm feeling good. 2021 has been good so far.
Right.
No crazy turn of events just yet.
In your personal life.
In my personal life, because if we want to talk about the world, then that's a whole nother conversation, and if we have time for all of that. But other than that, just trying to find a balance in between the energy of time for goal setting, time for vision setting, and then trying to find a balance of, no, do I really want to pressure myself with a whole new set of goals and create that, like, first quarter gotta get this done, second quarter gotta get this done, and overwhelm myself. So I want to just kind of enjoy and just be, but at the same time not forgetting that first quarter I need to get this done.
Did that work for you last time? Like saying, first quarter, this, that, whatever?
Normally it does.
Okay.
I think that with everything that happened last year, that kind of changed the goals, and it kind of had to shift a bit. I think towards the end of the year, I was like, man, forget these goals. But funny enough, when I looked back at some of what I wrote down, and I want to say that a lot of the things that I still wanted to happen at the beginning of the year happened.
Okay, that's good.
I thought I was kind of close, like, oh yeah, this happened, and this did happen, and this did happen. So I was like, was this manifesting? Was God granting me the desires of my heart? Was it just some, you know what I'm saying?
Well, a few things there. So I've decided to take a different approach to the beginning of the year. I usually make a vision board. I'm probably not going to do that. The vision board I just took off of my wall served me from 2019 to 2020. Okay. Because when 2020 rolled around, I wasn't home, and I left the vision board home. When I came back here in like April, I saw it and I was like, well, some of these things are still on the list, so let's just keep it up. I eventually felt ready to take it down because of things like finishing my degree. Okay. And, relationships, like stuff like that was on there. And I'm like, okay, check this off, can take this down. But at the end of the year, I actually joined this manifesting class on New Year's Eve. Okay. It was like a virtual thing with this guy that Sheila Marie's always bringing on her live and stuff like that. Okay. I forgot his name, like Justin something. Okay. And I was like, whatever, let me try it out. and understand what this manifesting thing is about. But what he said that stuck with me was that we think about manifesting as putting the stuff on the vision board and looking at it, whatever. But for him, manifesting is more like visualizing yourself and thinking about what will this feel like when I accomplish this. Start to live in that space like, because things are not always going to look how you think it's going to look.
I agree.
So he's like, that's the problem with the traditional view with manifestation is like, if it didn't look like what I put on my thing, that's not it. But how do you think you're going to feel when you have this career, when you have the relationship that you want, when you have, how do you think you're going to feel in your new house?
Exactly.
Not what the house is going to look like.
Yeah.
How you're going to feel. And so that is what I've been trying to work on.
Okay.
Yes, I feel like a real doctor. I feel like I can handle responsibility. I feel like I am capable of treating patients and, obviously with supervision at this point, but I feel confident about these things. That's what I'm trying to work on versus which place am I going to end up for residency and what that's going to look like, So, that's something that I tried. And so I'm not making a vision board. I took that down. But I do still like to write things down and plan. And I've been trying to use my phone. That's my goal. I didn't buy a planner this year either. I usually run and go find the cutest planner.
Right.
I didn't buy a planner, but I was like, we have the phones cost $1,000 and they have a calendar, they have a reminder thing. So I've been writing my to-do list down in my phone. I've been adding things to my calendar in the phone. Trying to be efficient in that way and see if that works for me versus carrying around a planner in my purse. I don't always want to carry a purse,
Well, one thing that that you could carry on if you're interested, I don't know if you want to use your phone for that, but it's journaling, like to write other things on. I mean, there's something about putting other things down to pen to paper.
Yeah, I have a journal.
Okay.
But that stays at home.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think I travel with mine every now and then.
Oh, that's cool.
But something back to what you were saying that I remembered, let's see if I remembered some points that you made. Even back to the manifesting thing. So, because I am still going to make a vision board. But the thing that I do differently for mine is not just making and putting it on the wall, but even just speaking it, and walking in it. Like you said, I know I'm gonna have this job soon, and let me start buying my new work clothes, because I'm gonna be wearing these clothes soon. I even went to I went online, and I'm gonna share this. Oh gosh, and they were having a sale on I don't even want to share this. But they were having a sale on maternity clothes. Okay. And I was like, you know what? I want to wear cute maternity clothes one day. So you know what? Let me find the stylish one. And I ordered 2 things. And I'm going to hang it up in my closet and leave it there.
Okay.
And I even have other things saved, like re-wedding and and even some one do. So not just putting it on the board, but this is what I want this to look like. And this is what I want this to be. And, let me step out further in faith and start already purchasing the things that have to go along with this vision that I have. And then something you also said that what you want can look different, right? And I think about how on my vision board last year, I wanted to, before COVID, I wanted to do different speaking engagements. I really want to work on my speaking skills and so forth. And it started out with the first one was the Lights on Girls conference, and then the conference in Atlanta. And then I had one scheduled the next month, and then boom, COVID happened and everything got canceled. But then when you said things were different, right? I was still doing speaking engagements throughout the rest of the year, but for my job, right? And on Zoom. And I was like, God, it wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it still happened every single month. And I'm like, maybe it was maybe you need more practice, Candy, or maybe you need more.
And we're always more comfortable a little bit behind the screen.
Exactly.
You probably felt more comfortable speaking from that space where people can't see all of you. Or
right.
Different things, right? And so now maybe when you do get back to an in-person situation, you're not even going to think about those things.
Not even going to think about it. So yeah, I wanted to mention that. So this will be our year of manifesting and walking into it like this is what we want to do, and we're going to start prepping ourselves.
I got like 2 more big things I'm trying to manifest for this year, and I'm not letting up on that until it absolutely isn't happening. For right, like if it's not happening, it's not happening, right? But I'm gonna do what I can do on my end.
Exactly, I agree.
I'm gonna make the moves I should make. I'm gonna, act like this is happening.
Right.
Until it doesn't.
I agree.
That's it. Because I don't want to even literally yesterday, I was having doubts about something and feeling like, oh, maybe I should just wait and just whatever.
No.
And then after I said it out loud and talked about it, and then I was like, you know what? No. Tomorrow morning, I'm hitting the ground running with this.
I like it.
And I'm going to make sure that I do what I need to do on my end so that I don't have any regrets when, later on, that I did do what I should do and make, make the moves I should make. Yeah.
And I think that's a good start. And even a financial seminar I was watching, the man was like, the money's gonna come. Money's gonna come to you. Don't doubt it's gonna come. But while you're waiting for it to come, study the stock stuff, study the whatever, study the investment, study whatever it is.
Yeah.
Don't wait until the money lands in your lap. He's like, that's the problem. When the money comes, we don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Because we never prepared, right? So you get the $600. You doing other stuff with this $6, but if you were educated on other things you could do with this $6, you would have done other things. She's like, yeah, $20 gonna land in your lap.
Yeah.
$100 gonna land in your lap is what you're gonna do with that $100 or $50 when it lands in your lap. And he's like, prepare.
Yeah.
Prepare ahead, do all the studying, learn what you can, so that when you do come across it, you know what to do with it.
Yeah, I was just saying yesterday that economics is something that I want to put an effort into learning more about this year, because understanding, the moves that I have to make, even in my specific career. Like I hear other residents and doctors talk about the things that they learned along the way about how to manage their money and how to set themselves up for the future. And it's like nobody's telling you that stuff unless you find yourself like the proper mentor or somebody to teach you. So I'm trying to set myself in that position, talk to some people, ask them, so how you do this? How did you save this money and buy this house in this time period? Right. How did you start investing from residency or whatever the case might be? So, yeah, those are the plans. Other than that, we have to see if what is it, after Wednesday, the 20th, if we're still a democratic nation, or we're gonna have half of the country turn on the other half of the country by Wednesday for the inauguration.
Listen, are we going to be running into any buildings, or no? We just going to leave that to the...
Running into buildings, like looting?
Yeah, or we're going to leave that to them other folks.
We're going to leave that to them. I'm not going to be involved in anything like that, and I don't... when, like last year when the Black Lives Matter protests were happening, and then you saw where there were some people looting and breaking into things. And, of course, there was the talks that it really wasn't the actual protesters, and people were kind of making things seem like that was what was going on, but it wasn't really them. Even then, I was like, listen, I kind of understand looters in a way. Something is happening, and this is your situation, and you feel like you have to take advantage of the situation that's happening.
Okay.
I can understand it. It sucks for business owners. It sucks for especially small business owners. It completely sucks. But I understand the mentality of trying to get something out of what's going on, because those people are not just regular people sitting at home like, I need a new TV. No, these people don't have nothing. Like, they really need this TV to probably sell and get some money. I mean, that's what I imagine, really. I'm sure maybe there's just people that do it for the heck of it.
Yeah,
but I feel like the majority of these people are desperate. I don't know. That's how I look at it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think some could be. I think some just like, hey, if I could get some free Nikes and to wear to school the next day, it's free. Everybody's going crazy. The window is smashed. It's open.
Nobody's gonna notice me.
Why not? Right? Let me get a new pair of Harachis or something. Harachis is probably old now.
I don't even know, girl.
Harachis? Really, Candy?
Your age is showing.
Right? My bad. It's just the first thing that came to my head. But
I don't know. I mean, but like I said, I've been paying attention to what's been going on the news and what's been going on, obviously, but I've since last year decided to emotionally detach from these things, because in a way, certain things, not everything, there are certain things that are not in this moment directly affecting my life. Right? So, what's going on up there in DC and whatever Trump is doing, whatever Biden is doing at this moment is not directly affecting what's going on with me. Life is still going on.
It is, right?
And so I can't stop to be consumed by CNN all day. Right. I will add though, if you watch like regular news and CNN, every once in a while, give yourself 5 minutes on Fox News if you want to be like, oh, this is what's really happening on the other side. When you see what you saw, if you watch what happened at the Capitol, you saw the facts with your own eyes, and then you went on Fox and listened to what they had to say, you wonder if they were watching the same thing. What
were they saying?
They started to talk about how it was only 2% of the people that were in the march were rioting. That 99% of the people there were just regular people that were outside supporting. Only like 2% of the people went in, and those are like radical whatever. Okay. You're like 2%. You only saw 2%, and even then, you still think they still had Trump flags and Confederate flags, and you still just saw it as no. Majority of these people were good. That's not how it looked. What they completely watched a different video from you.
Got it. I think for the news, one of the things is try not to be surprised anymore. Oh yeah. Right? Like, when you hear Trump got impeached again, it's like America's so wild. Like I want to stop saying that, right? Like, America. It is America. Just believe it and just like accept it, and I feel like we're still like every time we see something, we're just like, but should we normalize it? That it's just like we're desensitized to it now when we see it. But it's just like every time it comes on, I'm just like the whole thing with the Capitol. And I was honestly, it had triggered me because I remembered how they dealt with us during Black Lives Matter and everything else. So I was extremely triggered. I remember I was really upset that day at work, like, and I feel it wasn't even just me. Like my coworkers, we were literally like fuming when we saw what was happening, how they were dealt with, and how everyone was gentle and how everyone was kind, and like, these people are
but the memes tell you exactly what you need to know, right? They said like there was 2 memes that I remember that stood out for me. One was like, you don't go to the Hannah Montana concert and ask where Miley is at. Like, no. It's the same person.
I haven't seen that one. Yeah. That was funny.
And then the other one was like, people are talking about why it took the police so long to respond, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, if you consider that they had to leave the protest, go home and change into their uniform and come back, they actually made good time.
Oh, I didn't see that one either.
Because there's like, it's the same people. It's the same. And now they're really coming out with evidence that there were a lot of law enforcement people in the protest that day from all over the country.
You see my face? I'm looking at you right now. Like all over again.
That's what's going on. That's what's really going on.
Wow, that's a good one. They would have to go home and that's a good
They're like, they actually made good time.
How do people come up wrong with these things?
Because that's what's really going on. These people were really in these protests. And, you know, like you look at those videos of this black man running from a whole crowd, black police officer running from a crowd of protesters. You got to be kidding me. But we're not kidding you. This is America.
And I think even one thing I liked, it was something that was trending on TikTok, where it was people in other countries sharing how they view America.
Ghetto.
I was about to say us, but I'm not American. But, you know, I'm listening to the people in the other countries, and I'm just like, wow, here we over here, like we're the greatest thing, and everybody wants to flock to the United States, and they're here looking like, y'all ain't all of that.
We're not, even from here, I'm always wondering what has been historically, and I guess as an immigrant, I cannot wrap my mind around this intense patriotism that happens. Do we act like this about Jamaica?
I mean, like when we win the Olympics, and if somebody chat back to us,
I'm saying, like,
green.
Do we care if somebody doesn't put their right hand across their left breast and raise their hand to say the Pledge of Allegiance properly?
And the national anthem?
Do we care about the flag of Jamaica that much, like a piece of cloth?
I don't think so.
We don't, and I never understood this obsession with patriotism in that way, where it's about these symbols of things and not what actual patriotism means, right?
I don't know.
Because even if we go back to this COVID conversation, patriotism would mean that you would not be complaining about wearing a mask because you are doing this for the good of your country, right? But that doesn't register to people who are so overly patriotic. It doesn't register to them when Colin Kaepernick is kneeling, oh my God, you're disrespecting the flag.
Right, even that, like, you guys were so against this form of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for, of what Kaepernick was doing?
The protest.
Protesting, yeah. Right. And then look at their form of protesting.
Yeah, it's wild.
Wild.
And I never understood this about America. I never understood America's obsession with going into other countries and fixing everything. And over here, it's just a hot pile of shit. I mean, you know,
hot, very hot.
It's just like, what are you doing? Where are you going? You need to come back over here and clean up your yard because this is terrible. This is ghetto over here.
Even them being attached to the flag and everything, I think it's almost even tied to even religion, right? Like, you see how even them trying to bring it together, their patriotism and religion, but even how us as religious folks, like, we're tied to these different symbolism. I remember one of the ladies was about, what is this thing that the Catholics do, right?
The Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary, and she was like, you know, it's just another thing that, she said, I remember I used to get in trouble for not doing it. And I'm like, you know, does God really care if I do, you know, this or the Hail Mary? And I'm like, we're so tied to these symbols, rituals.
For me now, a lot of the aspects of religion are brainwashed for me now. I'm not saying in general. There are certain big aspects of religion that is meant to lead you like sheep, right? And for you to, because there's somebody at the top who wants control. So they continue to say, you need to do this, you need to do this, and if you don't do this, this is sin. And if you don't say this, you know, this many times a day, you're not gonna go to heaven. You know, or whatever the case might be.
Right,
There's all these little things, and then then you associate like these conservative beliefs, and it's just like, what are you even talking about right now?
Exactly. I think for a lot of people now, and I think, you know, they should be careful because now you have these new kids coming up, and even us as millennials, I think we kind of started that whole shift. But when you look at how things are happening in like Bible Belt states and with politics and stuff, it's like, wait, and then Black Lives Matter, you're like, this is not adding up. Like,
how do you
stand by this, but then you rock with this?
How do you have the principles of what Jesus says, right? Jesus, the principles of Jesus are basic. Good, do good to others, be this type of person. Nothing wrong with those principles, right? But you look at Trump, you look at other things, and you say, yeah, this is in line with what I believe.
What you believe.
That doesn't make, I cannot wrap my mind around that. As a pastor, as a church, even just as a believer, you really believe that this is okay. And that's
the way you speak to people. How is that speaking with love?
You ever seen some of the videos where they actually ask these people these questions?
No.
It sounds like they're just blindly following it because they don't have any answer for you. They cannot explain themselves out of that because there's no way to explain why you believe that what Jesus says is right and then what Trump says is right. And they don't make no sense.
And one of the funny things that I will say about these Trump fanatics is that they always rest on these two things why they support Trump, right? These two things. That he's not for the gay marriages, right? Or an abortion. And I'm like, dang, y'all really heavy on this.
Really care about this abortion thing.
And this abortion and this homosexual thing. Like, y'all real heavy on this. Forget everything else. Forget everything else people have going on and homelessness
these
and hunger and kids needed to be adopted and forget everything else that's going on in the world. But I stand by Trump because my tax dollars are not going towards, I do not want my tax dollars going towards abortion, and I'm not for gay marriages, and that's what I keep hearing over and over again.
You got to be kidding me.
Over and over again.
Nobody is forcing you to have an abortion. Relax. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to continue with this.
Sorry. I always hear that in these conversations in regards to church and politics is those two things. And even immigration, they're heavy on people coming over here and taking their jobs and
that they don't want to do. So whatever.
And even now, I know you say you don't want to talk about that anymore, but I was watching something last night on the TV and it was they were interviewing a judge in California, I want to believe, that is responsible for enforcing the law whereas immigration is concerned. And he was just sharing things from his point of view. So, he was, I think he got that position, Bush who put him in that position at that time. But he's saying one thing that America needs to understand and how they're making it hard for these people, which is why he does have a heart for them, is that you'll make this law, right, in this year, maybe for example, 1999. You made a way for Mexicans to come here and work, or for them to bring their children or whatever. Then a new president comes into play another 4 years later and changes it. And in another 4 years. And then it changes these people's lives where it's like, okay, you guys changed something. I still haven't made my path to citizenship yet. But what happens to me now? Because you changed something.
You said I could come and now
you said I could come and now you've moved me. So she read a letter that he said he actually sent to Obama. Obama probably never read it, he said, but it was a man that was now 75 years old that came here as a kid. And he came on something that the U.S. had put in place for workers that they needed over here. And he came and he's been here for a kid on this document. And it changed for him because I guess he got some legal issue he had. And then he was sent back. And the judge said, I really felt for him because he's been here his whole life. And now he's about to go back to Mexico that he knows nothing about, and he's 75 years old. Yeah,
that's the thing, and that's one of the biggest. I guess that was the basis behind DACA too. Is that you have kids who are now in their 20s and they've never been to these countries, except for when they were born for less than a year, and it doesn't make sense. Yeah, America and these immigration issues don't make no sense to me.
And when the judge said that, I thought that made sense. Yeah, America. You're not sticking to. You keep changing on these people, and then you just expect them to just fall in line.
Well,
and you're playing with their lives and their family and their money.
At this point, I mean, I might be naive in this sense and statement, but even maybe from people in Jamaica, I don't really understand. I just say to them like, don't try to come here. don't bother.
It ain't all of that.
Why are you trying to get over here so badly? Don't even bother. Like, yes, there are things that you might be able to do, but just like try your best where you're at.
Maybe a variety of food.
Because at this point, it's not the same like it was back in the day. You don't come here and suffer the same way.
Yeah.
Just try to do what you're doing where you at, because
they're not even asking us to send them stuff no more. They're not even begging us money no more. We begging them. Run us some coins. Send us some pennies. Something. You know what I'm saying? They see how ghetto it is over here.
I hope so. I hope they see.
They do. They really do.
They see. I feel like if I were living in Jamaica right now and I saw what's going on, no desire to migrate here.
Even though that's just how we handle COVID. Everyone's looking at us like, how can you be the United States of America and this is how y'all gonna handle COVID?
I went to Jamaica the other day.
Uh-huh.
When you go to the airport up here, literally it's just about the mask, right? Uh-huh. There's not any kind of mandate on sanitizing, nothing, whatever. You land in Jamaica, if you think you're gonna get off of that ramp without sanitizing your hands, and you think you're going to get out this airport without sanitizing your hands another 3 times? Candy, they are not playing. They have the literal army standing there like, ma'am, hold on. And the whole line has to stop. You need to stop and sanitize right here. And then you finish through immigration and somebody is spraying your hands. They're not playing.
And the amount of police and army and all of them things.
They still have curfew down there.
Listen, all the other day when they said we had curfew, what weekend was it? New Year's?
New Year's and Christmas weekend.
Listen, and my mother wanted to tell me that they have curfew. I'm like, did they
New Year's, yeah.
I said they didn't send me a text message.
Like they did with
Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, listen, they
know how to reach me if they want me to stay home.
That's exactly what I said.
How was I supposed to know?
I said, did they text? Me walking. I said, did they text me? No, they did not.
Yeah, I was leaving the house early New Year's morning at like 1 a.m, and my dad was in a fuss about.
We're on curfew.
I was like, all right, later. And then I got on the road and it was full of people.
You guys didn't send a text message. Why wasn't it that important to send a text message?
I didn't think about that. You're absolutely right. They knew exactly where to reach us when they didn't want us to be protesting.
How many messages
we
were getting then? We were getting so many about when it ends, and I'm like, you saw it everywhere.
Yeah, all of a sudden you want me to curfew and you ain't want to tell me. Oh, okay.
I think I thought that was very interesting how they handled that.
That is so true.
We got it when it was Black Lives Matter. But
yeah, whole text message.
Because I know they don't pay for it. I'm sure it doesn't take that much to get a message out to us. Why y'all couldn't get that message out to us?
Wow. Yeah, anyway, that's so true.
So ghetto, y'all. Wild. Wild.
Yo, and I mean, and to continue this, I guess whatever. This is how the conversation's going. There's this girl I follow, right? And I've met her through another friend, but I follow her, and like, she posts some stuff that be having my mind blown. Like, she's definitely one of those people that's like pro-black, anti this whole COVID thing. Like, she's like, we're all being brainwashed. Y'all over here talking about following up this election. Who cares about this election? This is not what's important. Like, those kind of things. And talking about the type of like fake things that they're presenting to us. Like, some people would call this like a lot of conspiracy theories. But, if you know me, I'm all about the conspiracies.
Did she wear her mask?
I believe she wears her mask in the appropriate situations. Okay. Yes. But she's, she says this is not, she doesn't believe that the mask thing was legitimate. She's like, it's, about immune systems and whatever. And whatever. But not only just COVID, even in general about the government and all this stuff. And I be listening to her stuff, and I even messaged her yesterday. I was like, girl, I need to have a conversation with you because you need to tell me more about some of this stuff you're posting. one really like outlandish one that not necessarily that I want to know about this, but she posted like about like the artificial intelligent people that are around, like actual robots that are existing among us. Have you seen anything like that?
No.
I've seen even Sheila Marie post about it where there's videos of actual robots on Instagram. Like they have their own Instagram. They look like real people, but they're AI. And they say they are AI. And they look very real, but you can see the robotic elements of it. You can see that they're not real, but they look very close to human beings. And they're saying that there's a lot of states where they're like there, and people are friends with these AIs, whatever. So she was posting some article that was saying that Biden is an AI, and I was like, and they were like saying how he was like glitching. He's always glitching out when he's like talking, and there was a video, and I was like, I low-key was watching the video like, wow, this could be true. But I'm not gonna follow into that rabbit hole per se. But it's like stuff like that is like, but I always feel like a lot of this is just not real. A lot of this stuff we're living in a bubble, We're only like, how do we know like everything you're watching is true if you're not there to see it? I don't know. And just the way the world has been going, I feel like I'm not going to be surprised, like we said earlier. These things are not going to surprise me if they're true.
Do you think that some of these movies and stuff that we watch...
100%. I don't even know what you're about to say. 100%. Yes. Yeah.
So
continue.
I was just going to say, do you think any of them have any truth to them if it's preparing us for
100%
what could come next?
Didn't we had something like that in one of our group chats the other day? Are you sent?
I sent this trailer called Quarantine or something like that. I don't know. I sent it sometime last year, and I remember it triggered me. I remember I even sent it to Melissa too, and I sent it to you guys. But I remember Melissa was like, she was upset, like so upset that this is too soon.
Yeah, but it's not the first. It wouldn't be the first.
But there was something about this one that was just
I remember.
maybe because
it was right in the heart of things
during the heart of COVID.
Yeah, it was right in the heart of things.
Like, how did you get this set up? Like, how did you get all of these actors? And
did they record it in the heart of COVID? Yeah. Okay.
That's a good point too. Did you?
And even just on a lighter note, so some of these things that come up like this. I saw the post. They're like, "Did you see Tangled,
the Disney one?" I sent that to you too. Yeah,
that made
come
me
on
laugh.
now, come on now.
Laugh, but I'm like, "Yo,
come on now,
right?"
Y'all,
they said in Tangled, right? Disney
tell them,
Tangled,
please.
That's about Rapunzel, right? Who's in the tower with the long hair. Her mother was keeping her quarantined, right? And they're saying that the name of the kingdom that she lived in was called Corona. And she was kept quarantined. And I'm like...
That's wild. That's wild. She already said, I was wanting to pull it up, but that's wild.
Yes. And then even when you think about the Simpsons stuff that they always showing, I'm like...
What are the odds of these things? Like, what are the odds of the Simpsons? What are the odds of Rapunzel being quarantined, living in Corona?
Stop trolling us.
Come on now.
Tell us what's really going on. And I won't even get started on like some of the stuff. There's a conspiracy theory room in Clubhouse. I don't have Clubhouse, but Shanique does.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was with her over, we were traveling, she would put it on, and we were listening to the conspiracy theory room one night.
Oh Lord,
girl, I was getting my whole life.
I don't know if I can handle that in such large doses.
They're talking about some stuff in there about TikTok, about just the internet in general, about what the goal is to get us used to virtual reality as a human race. Anyway,
you know, my thing is these people, like, you know, and I get it, right? Like, I get this conspiracy. I believe in some of them. I do think that there is something off. There's stuff going on that we don't know.
It just don't make sense.
But my thing is, how do people like that are just heavily in that, like, how do we live our lives, right? Like, how do we live? Like, how do the food, the traveling, the stuff we watch, like, what
I have said this
do
before.
we do?
I understand people who become like hippies and live off the grid, who don't have no phone, don't have no Facebook, WhatsApp, whatever. They just live and they don't participate in any of this foolishness. I understand those people now.
Living in another country.
If you dive into this stuff and find out some stuff and you really be like, what the heck is going on? You want to disconnect your phone, your TV, your everything in your house.
You're just going to be living in fear. Exactly. How can you enjoy life? How can you allow your kids to enjoy life? Like, you just live in fear your whole life.
Girl.
And then you can't just, and being in America, I mean, we probably can do it in another country, but you can't just move to a piece of land without them following you up and calling you one of them, I don't know, whatever you see on the documentaries that these people formed this camp. I know they're all like sleeping with their kids and whatever. Like, I don't know. I feel like even that, right? Like they turn these things into, maybe people are actually trying to live these lives and they're trying to turn us against it and turn it into something more, right? Like maybe
Right,
maybe some of those camps weren't really all of that they said in these documentaries. Maybe it was just people just trying to live off
these cults and
so maybe it wasn't really a cult. Maybe you guys created this name called cult and said this is what it is, but we were just trying to made it into a negative
I was
thing.
saying the same thing yesterday about communism. Every time you hear the word communism, you think this bad negative thing the government's trying to take from me, blah blah blah. And if you go and really understand, like if you studied like government or whatever world history, and you know what communism really means, it's not a bad thing when it's in its true form. But they just keep they use the word communist to, like, when they talk about Cuba, and we know originally that like the Communist Party was running Cuba, but what they actually were doing that we're referring to is not in the definition of communism anymore. It was now a dictatorship. So you can't say, this communist state, but they were no longer operating in communism. It was a dictatorship now.
Moved, right?
But that's what we use to say, you're trying to turn this into a communist society. That's not what that means, right? And so they use these little trigger words.
Right. Yeah. And these examples to make us think, connect the two, and that's the only picture we have in our head, because we don't have anything else to look at. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I don't know. It's right. I don't know.
Wow. We got deep
real quick.
That wasn't the plan, but it was good. It's a reality, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll just see what's happening.
We'll see.
And
you have any predictions? You want to make any? You want to do any Simpsons type Disney thing right now? Any predictions?
No. So I'll go ahead and plug in Ashley's new podcast. The Blunt Truth podcast.
Congrats, guys.
Congratulations. And I was listening to their 3rd or 4th episode, and the other co-host, Reese, she said she predicts that Kamala is going to be president by August.
Because Biden is going to die.
Well, we don't know all of that. But, you can become president. The vice president can become president if the president is incapacitated in any way. So he doesn't have to die.
Okay.
But, I always felt like that the moment after they won the election. And then what did he break? His ankle, his foot, his hand, spraying something like that weekend.
Wow.
And I was like, this man ain't going
He's not. Oh, gosh.
I'm sorry. Why do they keep making these presidents so old? Kamala is 56. I feel like they should have a cutoff. I think it should be, because there's a minimum age. You have to be at least 40
Okay.
I think.
I
40 to be able to be president.
Okay.
Right? However, they don't have a max age. They should stop that thing at 60. You shouldn't be able to be president over 60 years old. All these, what is it? Trump is 70 something. Biden is 70 something. Yes.
I know Trump was that old.
They're so old. All these old men. Like, Obama was probably the youngest one we've had in a while.
Okay. And they look good too.
Yeah.
Trump and Biden look old. Biden looks old.
Yeah.
Old. Completely old. He looks very fragile, so like it could just blow on him. Like, is he gonna be able to handle all of that traveling and all of those speech and handshake, and is he gonna be able to handle all of them things there?
Who knows? Like, I mean, it don't make no sense. They're just too old, and they need to make a rule and stop it because they can't relate to half of the stuff that's going on. I just feel like it's these people that are trying to live out these lifelong dreams or whatever. Somebody said the other day, Biden is kind of greedy because you were vice president the other day. That's not enough for you to just feel like, okay, I've accomplished in my life. You got to come back to run for president and be president. Like,
well, and nobody else is speaking the same talk anyway. Who else? We would have gotten Trump.
But I feel like
I get the point.
There were younger candidates. Remember, there was 20-something of them Democrats running. There were way younger candidates there. But, of course, it's just the system is not set up for those people. I don't know. I just feel like this whole thing is already rigged. Why do we care so much?
Girl, here we have taken a lot of our podcast time.
I'm exhausted.
To talk about the same politics that was said in the beginning that we did not want to consume ourselves with. Here we are talking about the United States and their issues.
We apologize for consuming 45 minutes of your time with this. We will see y'all later.
Yeah.
On that note, so go listen to the Blunt Truth podcast. I'm sure we can promote them on our Instagram at some point. Go ahead and listen to that. There's some funny girls. And good luck on your endeavors for 2021.
Good luck.
I don't feel like the year really changed much, but we have to have hope for things to be different in some way.
Let's
just do that.
Just wash your hands.
Please.
Wear
the
mask. Don't get in my space. 6 feet apart.
All right.
And
we'll be back with more stuff for you.
We'll be back. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye.